A quiet young girl, Maya Carter, steps off the school bus on the first day at Lincoln High in sunny California. She's here to complete her senior year, nothing more. Keep her head down, stay unnoticed, and get through the year. That was the plan. But as she steps onto the bustling campus, she quickly realizes that high school isn't going to be that easy. Her new classmates don't just let newcomers slide by unnoticed. They see her as someone to size up, to figure out. Maya adjusts her backpack, tightens the strap on her shoulder, and takes a deep breath, preparing herself for the chaos ahead. The school looks just like any other crowded hallways, filled with chattering students, the familiar buzz of gossip hanging in the air. But what makes Maya's situation different isn't the school, it's the people here, and the way they look at her. They're not just curious, they're analyzing her, wondering, who is she, what's her deal? Maya's eyes stay straight ahead as she navigates through the hallway. Her gaze sharpens as she passes the groups of cliques, knowing that being the new girl at a predominantly white school comes with more than just the typical stares. It comes with the judgment of being the other. Maya had learned to survive through years of moving from school to school, and the strategy was always the same. Don't stand out, don't attract attention. She was here to finish her education, graduate, and leave this small town behind. Her locker's right around the corner, so she quickens her pace. That's when she notices them. Audrey and her entourage. Audrey Jenkins, the popular girl, has a reputation for being the queen of the school. She doesn't just fit in, she rules the halls. Audrey is always surrounded by her loyal followers, Sarah and Lizzie, and today is no exception. Audrey's a natural leader, the kind of girl who has control over who's in and who's out. And she never moves without her shadows. What catches Maya's attention isn't just Audrey's popularity, it's the way the others react to her. Around Audrey stands her brother Lucas, a senior and star quarterback for the school football team, with a cocky smirk on his face that screams confidence. Beside him is his best friend, Ryan, tall and built like a linebacker. He's the loud, brash one who thinks his words are more important than anyone else's. Maya's experienced people like them before, and she knows that the best approach is to stay invisible. But as she's turning back to her locker, she feels it. Audrey's eyes are on her, studying her with an intensity that's hard to ignore. Maya does her best to ignore the weight of their stares. She's not here to be part of their world. She's here to finish her high school career without causing waves. Her first class goes by without much excitement, but the whispers never stop. Maya hears them, barely audible but unmistakable as she walks down the hallway. She's from Chicago. Do you think she's one of those tough girls? It's not the first time she's heard something like that, and it won't be the last. At lunch, she finds a quiet table at the back of the cafeteria, away from the chaos. She sits alone, eating her food in peace, trying to block out the noise. But soon enough, the whispers grow louder. Audrey, along with her friends, are sitting at a nearby table, and their laughter is the kind that feels sharp and pointed. Maya doesn't look up as they begin their show. Audrey's voice rings out, mocking Maya with a smile plastered on her face. "Oh, the new girl is shy," she teases, her eyes glittering with amusement. Sarah and Lizzie join in, adding fuel to the fire. Maya doesn't flinch, she just keeps eating, pretending as if none of it matters. The laughter increases, becoming louder and more directed at her. "Maybe she doesn't speak English," Ryan jokes, causing the entire cafeteria to erupt in giggles. Lucas, standing nearby, grins as he leans in. "Maybe she's just slow," he adds with a smug look on his face. The circle is complete. They're waiting for Maya to react. They want to see her crack. But Maya doesn't. She simply remains calm, her expression unreadable. Then Audrey reaches forward and knocks Maya's juice cup, spilling it across the table. The cafeteria goes silent for a second, and all eyes are on Maya. What will she do? Will she cry? Will she lash out? The silence is deafening. Maya exhales slowly, wipes her hand with a napkin, and calmly stands up. Without a word, she grabs her tray and walks to the trash bin. She throws the entire thing away, not even sparing a glance at Audrey or her friend. As she walks away, the laughter starts again, but this time it's not as confident. It's forced, uneasy. There's something about Maya that feels different, something they didn't expect. Jessica, or rather Audrey, watches Maya's every move, and for the first time in a long while she feels a twinge of doubt. She doesn't know why, but there's something in the way Maya handled everything that's throwing her off. She wanted a reaction, something to break the new girl, but instead, Maya left the table without even a hint of anger or embarrassment. She just walked away. Audrey's smirk falters, and in that moment she feels something she's never felt before: uncertainty. The lunch bell rings, and the once bustling cafeteria falls into a rhythmic hum of noise as students find their seats. Maya heads for the back, just like she did earlier, choosing a quiet corner table away from the chaos. The food doesn't interest her much. It's the silence that she craves. She's already dealt with enough stares and whispers for one day, but as she settles into her seat, she feels the weight of the room shift. Audrey, as always, is with her crew. They're scattered around the cafeteria, but their eyes are all trained on her. At first, it's just casual glances. Then, the whispers begin again, louder this time. Maya's used to it, but today feels different. There's a tension in the air, something thick and suffocating, like a storm waiting to break. It doesn't take long for Audrey to make her move. The taunting begins with a high-pitched, syrupy sweet voice that echoes through the room. "Look at this," Audrey's voice rings out, loud enough for the cafeteria to hear. "The new girl thinks she's too good to talk to anyone." Maya doesn't respond. She takes a bite of her sandwich, her expression unreadable, and goes on eating like she's in her own world. The laughter starts to rise around her, as expected. Then Monica joins in, throwing in her own comment. "Maybe she's too shy to speak," she says with a smirk. Sarah adds to the chorus, "Or maybe she just doesn't like us." The three of them are circling like sharks, and the energy in the room is shifting from playful to hostile. The cafeteria is watching now. Their laughter feels cold, calculated, as if they've decided this is going to be a show and Maya is the target. Maya's grip on her fork tightens, but she keeps her cool. She doesn't flinch, doesn't let them see the impact their words have. She's been through worse, and she's not about to give them the satisfaction of seeing her react. The crowd, however, doesn't seem to get it. They want a reaction. They want her to break. It's almost as if they need it. And when they realize she's not giving them what they want, the taunting becomes more brazen. "Hey, new girl!" Trey's voice cuts through the buzz. He's standing at the edge of the table now, grinning like he's just waiting for her to give in. "Don't you have anything to say? Or are you just too stuck up to talk to us?" Maya doesn't even look up. She just continues to eat, the rhythm of her movement steady and unbothered. But then something happens, something that shifts the entire atmosphere in the room. Audrey, clearly frustrated, leans in and flicks Maya's juice cup, sending it tumbling across the table. It spills everywhere, soaking her food. The room goes silent for a second. Maya doesn't flinch. She doesn't shout, she doesn't cry. She just exhales slowly, her gaze still fixed on her meal. There's a calmness about her that doesn't belong in a situation like this. She sets her fork down, wipes her hands on a napkin, and then stands up. Without sparing Audrey or the others a glance, she grabs her tray and walks to the trash can. Her footsteps are measured, deliberate, as if the world around her has stopped. The cafeteria is frozen, watching her every move. She tosses the tray in the trash and walks out. For a moment, no one says a word. Then the laughter starts again, but it's different this time. It's forced. It's uncomfortable. Audrey watches Maya walk away, her smirk faltering just slightly. She's used to being the one in control, the one everyone bows down to. But this girl? Maya, she's something different. Something Audrey can't quite figure out. Maya doesn't look back. She doesn't react. She's not angry. She's not scared. She's just calm. And that's what gets to Audrey, because for the first time she's not the one in control, and she hates it. By the time the bell rings for the next class, the entire school is buzzing with talk about Maya. Word has spread faster than Audrey could have anticipated. People are whispering, wondering about the new girl who didn't flinch when the entire cafeteria turned on her. The rumors start to swirl. Maybe she's tough. Maybe she knows how to handle herself. Maybe she's not as easy to break as Audrey thought. And that's the moment Audrey knows this isn't over. Not by a long shot. Maya Carter may have walked away, but she's not going to get away with it. Audrey doesn't take defeat lightly, and she's determined to make sure Maya knows her place. By the next day, things have shifted. The whispers in the hallways grow louder, and the energy in the school feels different. Maya can sense it before she even steps into the building. The way people look at her is no longer just curiosity. It's something more, something darker. They're watching her like she's a mystery they need to solve, a puzzle they can't quite figure out. She's not the new girl anymore. Now she's a challenge. Maya walks into Lincoln High with her usual calm, measured pace, the same composure she's carried with her all along. Her eyes stay fixed on the path ahead as she navigates the crowded hallways. She can feel their eyes on her, the weight of their stares bearing down on her with each step. It's subtle at first, a glance here, a whisper there, but it's undeniable. She knows they're talking about her, and she knows why. The rumors have already started to circulate. Maya is no longer just a quiet girl from Chicago. No, now she's something else. People are calling her tough. People are saying she can take a punch without blinking. Some of them are even whispering that she's dangerous. There's a mix of fear, curiosity, and awe that follows her as she walks through the halls, and every step she takes only fuels their curiosity more. Maya doesn't react. She keeps her head high and walks with purpose, as if the weight of the world isn't on her shoulders. She knows what they're thinking, but she doesn't care. She's here to finish her year, to get her diploma, and then move on. No drama, no distractions. But that doesn't mean the pressure isn't building. As she moves from class to class, she feels the eyes following her. It's like a storm that's gathering speed. They're not just watching her anymore. They're waiting for her to break, waiting for her to make a mistake, waiting for her to react. By the time lunch rolls around, the tension is almost unbearable. She can feel the change in the air, the way the energy in the cafeteria feels charged, like something is about to happen. She picks her usual spot at the back of the room, away from the crowd. But today it's different. Today it feels like the entire cafeteria is waiting for something. And then, just as she's about to take a bite of her lunch, it happens. Monica and Lizzie, Audrey's two most loyal followers, make their move. As Maya walks past them to find her seat, they purposely bump into her, one of them jostling her elbow into Maya's side. The move is subtle, but the intent is clear. It's a test. They want to see how she reacts. They want to see if she'll finally show some weakness. Maya doesn't react. She doesn't flinch. She just keeps walking. But that's when they push harder. As Maya reaches for her seat, Ryan, Audrey's older brother, cuts in. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and always thinks he's the center of attention. This time, though, his attention is focused on Maya. He deliberately bumps into her hard enough to make her stumble. "Oops," he says, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Can't keep your balance?" The room falls silent for a moment as everyone watches, waiting to see what Maya will do. They want to see her break. They want to see her lash out, show anger, fear, frustration, anything that will make her human in their eyes. But Maya doesn't do anything. She just steadies herself, takes a deep breath, and sits down. No reaction, not even a glance in his direction. And that's when the crowd realizes something. Maya's different. She's not like the others. She's not falling for their tricks. Ryan stands there, a cocky grin on his face, expecting Maya to fight back, but she doesn't. She doesn't give him the satisfaction. Across the room, Audrey watches with growing frustration. She's used to being the one in control, the one who calls the shots. But with Maya, everything is different. She's not breaking. And that's something Audrey can't handle. Maya's silence, her calmness, it's like a slap in the face. It's not the humiliation she expected. It's not the reaction she wanted. And the more Maya refuses to engage, the more Audrey's power over the situation slips away. But Audrey isn't the type to back down. She's not the type to let anyone take control from her, and so she doubles down. The next day she plans her next move. She can feel the pressure rising, both from Maya and from the rumors spreading across the school. She can feel the eyes watching her, wondering when she'll finally break. But she's not going to let that happen. Not now. Not when she's this close to finishing what she started. And so the cycle continues. Audrey's attempts to provoke Maya become more obvious, more desperate. She pushes harder, trying to get Maya to react. But Maya doesn't flinch. She doesn't show weakness. She doesn't give Audrey the satisfaction of seeing her sweat. And all the while, the school watches. The tension in the air grows thicker, heavier, until it feels like something is bound to snap. But Maya doesn't crack. She just keeps walking. And with each step, Audrey's control slips further and further away. By the next afternoon, the pressure has reached a boiling point. The tension in the school is palpable. Students are watching Maya like she's a ticking time bomb, waiting for her to finally snap. Audrey, having failed to break her in the cafeteria, knows that she needs to step up her game. She's been the queen of Lincoln High for too long to let a quiet girl like Maya take her place without a fight, and so she orchestrates a plan. The final bell rings and the students flood out of their classrooms, buzzing with the energy of the end of the day. Maya feels it before she steps outside. There's a shift in the air, a collective sense of anticipation. She knows they're watching her, that they've been waiting for this moment. As she walks toward the back of the school, she sees Audrey and her crew standing there, their faces twisted in the kind of confident smirk that only comes from thinking they're about to win. Audrey stands in the center, flanked by her loyal followers, Monica and Lizzie, while Lucas and Ryan stand off to the side. Trey, always eager for a fight, is bouncing on the balls of his feet, clearly ready to make his move. Maya doesn't hesitate. She walks steadily toward them, her gaze never leaving Audrey. The crowd of students has gathered around them, forming a loose circle, murmuring in anticipation. The challenge is clear now. Audrey isn't just trying to make Maya break. She wants a fight, and she's going to push Maya until she gets one. "Thought you'd be too scared to show up," Audrey sneers, her voice dripping with mockery. Maya doesn't respond. She doesn't give Audrey the satisfaction of seeing her afraid. She's been through this before, countless times, in different schools, different cities, the same pattern, the same game. But this time it's different. This time, Maya isn't going to let Audrey have control. "Not scared?" Maya says quietly, her voice calm and steady. "Just waiting." "Waiting for what?" Audrey's smirk falters for a split second, but she quickly recovers. She's not about to back down now. "Waiting for what? You think you can handle us? You think you can just walk away like before?" Maya's eyes narrow, but she doesn't answer. She's not here for words. She's here for a lesson. She's here to show them that they can't keep pushing her, can't keep trying to control her life. If they want a fight, they'll get one. But this isn't about proving something. It's about ending it. Audrey's eyes flash with a mixture of anger and disbelief. She steps closer to Maya, her heels clicking sharply against the pavement. "You really think you can just walk away again?" she says, her voice low and threatening. "You've made a mistake, girl. I'm not going to let you get away with this." Maya doesn't flinch. She stands tall, her posture straight and her fists clenched at her sides. She's ready. This isn't the first time someone's tried to push her to her limits, but Audrey's mistake is thinking that Maya's calm is weakness. "I'm not walking away," Maya says, her voice steady but filled with something darker. "But this ends today." And just like that, everything shifts. The energy in the crowd changes. There's a collective intake of breath as they realize Maya isn't backing down. Audrey steps forward, her eyes blazing, ready to strike. Maya doesn't move. She lets Audrey come closer, feeling the anticipation build in the air. She knows exactly what's about to happen. Audrey lunges forward, throwing a punch with all the force she can muster. It's wild, unrefined, and full of rage. But Maya's prepared. She's trained for moments like this. She steps to the side, fluid and calm, using Audrey's momentum against her. With a quick twist, Maya grabs Audrey's wrist and spins her around, sending her crashing to the ground with a thud. The crowd goes silent. For a moment, no one knows what to say. Audrey is sprawled out on the ground, shocked and struggling to get up. The fight isn't over yet, but the moment has changed. The power has shifted. Lucas and Ryan step forward, but Maya doesn't flinch. Trey charges too, full of adrenaline and pride, but Maya sidesteps him with ease. She moves like a predator, her movements fluid and calculated. She doesn't strike unless she has to, and when she does, it's quick, efficient, and effective. Trey is the next to fall. He charges at her, throwing punches, but Maya sidesteps each one, grabbing his wrist mid-strike, spinning behind him and locking his arm in a swift maneuver. He gasps, the pain from the lock making him stumble forward, clutching his arm. The crowd is in complete shock now. They've been expecting Maya to break, to panic, but she's the one in control. Audrey's smirk is gone, replaced with something else. Fear. She watches as her crew crumbles one by one. For the first time in her life, she's not the one in control, and it's terrifying. Maya doesn't stop there. She stands tall, hands loose at her sides, but her gaze is unwavering. "Do you still think I was running?" she asks Audrey, her voice low but strong. Audrey doesn't answer. She can't. She's lost. The crowd is watching, and they're not looking at her anymore. They're looking at Maya. And Maya, calm and unshaken, walks away from the group, leaving Audrey and her followers behind. She doesn't need to prove anything. She doesn't need to say another word. The crowd, once full of admiration for Audrey, now murmurs amongst themselves. They're confused, they're impressed, but more than anything, they're afraid. Because they've seen something they've never seen before. Audrey may have been the queen of Lincoln High, but Maya Carter just dethroned her with nothing more than calm control. As Maya walks away, there's a heavy silence in the air. No one says a word as she leaves the circle behind. But in that silence, something new is born. Maya didn't just win a fight. She won the respect of everyone watching. And Audrey? She's left with nothing but the remnants of her own shattered pride. Maya Carter may have walked away from the fight, but she's not the same girl who walked into this school just a week ago. She's in control now, and everyone knows it. English version. The next morning at Lincoln High feels different. The usual buzz of chatter and clanging lockers is still there, but there's a new, heavy energy in the air. Maya can feel it as soon as she walks through the door. The students who once ignored her, the ones who whispered behind her back, now they watch her. They don't stare in pity. They don't laugh. No. There's something new in their gaze. It's respect, fear, curiosity. Maya knows she's earned it, but it doesn't faze her. She's been through worse. She's seen this kind of shift before. The moment when everything changes after you stop letting people push you around. But this time it feels different. Audrey isn't the only one who's shaken by what happened. The entire school is on edge. The whispers are no longer about how weak or shy the new girl is. They're about who she really is and whether or not they want to find out. Walking through the halls, Maya doesn't look around. She doesn't need to. She's not here for validation. She's here to finish what she started, to get her diploma and move on with her life. But there's no denying that her calmness, her confidence, has changed the dynamic. She's no longer just the quiet new girl. She's the girl everyone is talking about. At lunch, Maya finds her usual spot again. She sits alone, not out of need, but because she likes the silence. She likes the space to think. But today things are different. Today, the empty seats around her aren't as lonely. She notices how people who would have never looked her way before are now hesitating by her table. A few basketball players glance over, nodding in her direction. Some of the girls, who once wouldn't even make eye contact, are now walking by her table, sneaking glances like they're not sure whether or not they should sit with her. Audrey, on the other hand, is struggling. Her usual place at the center of the cafeteria feels like a distant memory. The whispers about Maya are louder than any of the gossip about her, and it eats at Audrey. She can feel it in the way her friends look at her differently now. They're still loyal, still hanging around, but there's a shift in the air. They're no longer just following Audrey. They're watching Maya. Audrey tries to act like nothing's changed. She sits with her group, still acting like the queen of the cafeteria, still making sure everyone knows her name. But there's a new kind of unease behind her smile. She can't shake the feeling that things aren't the same anymore. And it's all because of Maya. But Maya doesn't care about Audrey anymore. She's done with her. The game is over. She won. The fight isn't even worth her time anymore. Maya looks around the cafeteria, her gaze scanning the room. She notices how things have shifted. The air is thick with tension, but it's no longer coming from her. It's coming from Audrey and her crew. They're not the ones in control anymore. The students aren't looking to Audrey for approval. They're looking at Maya. Maya is no longer the one trying to fit in. She doesn't need to. She's carved out her space, and the people who matter now recognize her strength. It's not about fighting or proving a point anymore. It's about owning who she is and letting everyone else see it. And as the days go by, Maya becomes more and more aware of how much her presence has changed the school. No one dares to mess with her. No one dares to cross her. She's not afraid to walk through the halls anymore, not afraid to stand tall. The whispers are still there, but they don't bother her. They don't affect her the way they used to. Audrey tries to rally her friends, tries to reclaim some of the power she's lost, but it's no use. The fight has already been won, and everyone knows it. Maya doesn't need to do anything else. She's made her mark, and it's enough. The respect she's earned isn't something that can be taken away. It's not about violence or anger. It's about knowing your worth and standing firm no matter what. As the days turn into weeks, Audrey's influence continues to fade. She's still the same girl trying to hold on to the power she once had, but the truth is clear to everyone now. Maya Carter has taken her place. Audrey doesn't know how to cope with that. She doesn't know how to navigate this new world where she's no longer at the center. But Maya? She's fine. She doesn't need to be at the center of anything. She's exactly where she needs to be. The whispers fade, the stares become less frequent, and the respect grows. Maya has won. Not just a fight, but the understanding that no one can take away her peace unless she lets them. She's made her statement, and now it's done. As she walks through the school one final time, Maya doesn't look back. She doesn't need to. The world has already shifted in her favor, and for the first time, she can breathe freely. Maya Carter isn't just the girl who walked away from the fight. She's the girl who made sure she never had to fight again. And that's the true power. The story of Maya Carter is more than just a tale of standing up against bullies. It's a reminder that true strength comes not from how loudly we shout or how fiercely we fight, but from the power of choosing not to let others dictate who we are. Maya could have chosen to fight back with anger or fear, but instead she chose silence, control, and confidence. And in doing so, she shifted the power dynamics around her. This isn't just about a high school bully. It's about recognizing when to walk away, when to stay calm, and when to stand your ground without ever lifting a finger in violence. Sometimes, the greatest victory is not in defeating the person trying to bring you down, but in the peace you maintain in your own mind. Maya taught us that no one can control you unless you let them, and the quietest person in the room can often be the most powerful. So, what's the lesson here? Don't let anyone push you to a breaking point. Your peace is powerful. Your calmness can be your strength. No matter where you are or what situation you're in, never forget that you control your reactions, and in doing so, you control your peace. If you like this video and the message it sends, drop a 1 in the comments below. If you feel there's something I can improve to make the content even more engaging, hit 0 in the comments and I'll work on making it better for you. Your feedback is what helps me grow and bring you more meaningful content.